Every day, we dig through newspapers from 100 years ago, and the people we've met could fill one unforgettable dinner table. From a car-stealing prince to a doctor studying dance, here's our first 1925 guest list, and trust me, you'd absolutely want an invite. This is Hidden Lens History, bringing the past back into focus. First up, a character unlike any other. Someone that finds his way into many of our videos.
Hello there.
Enjoy. 1925's version of Inventing Anna meets Catch Me If You Can. Swindler won women by icy love method. He told women he was a baron.
Lord Cornelius Beaverbrook of England.
Or Carl von Edwards. Or Sigmund Engel. Or at least 27 other names. One paper said he had an irresistible air of mystery, that he kissed women only on the hand, but preferred to entertain young men at night. He told the women he was working on a secret mission for the British government, and they believed him. They gave him cash, jewelry, marriage even. And just when they thought it was real, he'd vanish and do it all again. He swindled up to 100 women across 5 countries for nearly $1 million. One woman told the press, "Maybe some gave him money, but for me, he wanted only love." Yeah, sure, lady. He'd already done time at Sing Sing in 1917, under a different name, of course. By the time he finally stood trial again, he was wanted on 2 continents. After his imprisonment, his paper trail goes cold, at least for now. But if this video hits 100 likes, we'll dig up even more on Mr. Dr. Lord Baron and do a full-length video on his life. So like the video and drop your best fake alias in the comments below. The weirder, the better. This is Hidden Lens History. Beaverbrook thought he was a big deal. This next guy really was. A decorated veteran. But he did have one odd arrest record before all that. Today in 1925, a U.S. pilot got a federal warrant for hunting geese with his airplane. Newspapers couldn't believe it either. Lieutenant Fred C. Nelson, instructor for Missouri's 110th Observation Squadron, was accused of driving, killing, and capturing a Canadian goose from and with the aid of an airplane. He damaged his plane when he landed to pick it up and earned a federal warrant under the new Migratory Bird Treaty Act of 1918. Because hunting geese by air wasn't just odd, it was against federal law. Nelson was 31, a new father, trying to make his mark in early aviation. But maybe facing a federal charge reminded him there was more to flying than chasing geese illegally. He went on to win the 1934 Mitchell Trophy, rise to colonel in the Air Corps, and live a long, decorated life. A century later, he's proof the Roaring Twenties had their share of strange headlines. The lieutenant may have chased geese, but our next guest, he chased chaos on land. Today was one lucky day for Benjamin L. Baum. At 6:30 a.m., he and his friend escaped their crazed Flivver, 1920s slang for a junky little car. After 2 full rotations and a nosedive, not a scratch. Baum was no stranger to the traffic desk. 2 years earlier, he was fined $5, maybe for reckless driving, just a guess. By 1931, things got messier. He sued his father-in-law, claiming the man ruined his marriage. His wife's version? He threatened to throw her out the window, kind of like the car did to him. By 1946, he had tragically lost a daughter, and his son's engagement lists Mr. and Mrs. Baum. Maybe just a formality, but the two are also buried under one headstone at National Capital Hebrew Cemetery. The paper only froze a few moments of their lives. The rest was real, messy life. Benjamin loved speed. Our next doctor loved dance. Maybe a little too much. One doctor got away with hiring dancers for research. The headline reads, "Dances force blood pressure upward." Yeah, I bet it does. Dr. S.E. Witt said he was conducting scientific research on how theater affects the human body, which apparently meant strapping a guy to a blood pressure cuff and hiring dancers. His volunteer, Walter Kingsley, had a normal blood pressure of 124. Then, Miss Phyllis Pierce performed what the paper called an Oriental dance. No doubt a westernized version if Phyllis was the one performing. During the dance, His pressure jumped to 132.
Hello.
Then, Miss Marie Saxon took the stage, did one of her specialty dance numbers, and the reading dropped back to normal. Because someone had to pour cold water on the research, and judging by her face in the photo, she knew exactly how ridiculous this experiment was. So the next time someone says they're doing research, maybe ask, what kind? Follow for more fun from the papers 100 years ago. That doctor focused on the rise of men. This one's more concerned with the fall. Sorry, men, you're deteriorating.
Oh, no.
It's true. At least, that's what a British doctor said 100 years ago today. On November 2nd, 1925, Sir W. Blair Bell declared that feminine ascendancy, women getting educated, working, and thinking for themselves, was proof that men were in decline.
He is supposed to know what he is talking about.
A century later, looks like you've done just fine.
Obviously.
Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, American professor Miss Nellie Lee Holt was also a little off, predicting a woman president in the U.S. before long.
Oh dear.
Unless before long meant over 100 years later. So, when will men actually deteriorate?
Not on my
And
watch.
when will we finally have that woman president?
Not at this pace.
Those are the questions people seem to continue to ask, and will maybe never know. Until then, follow for more of the weird, wild, and true from 1925. From a man deeply worried about society collapsing, to a couple who had their love life outed by a stolen car. It wasn't Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, but close enough for 1925's reporters. He won the World Series. She was Miss Washington, and their date was exposed by a stolen car. Meet Goose Goslin, famous slugging outfielder for the Washington Senators. Fresh off a 1924 championship, and apparently dating Helen Gould Sweeney. Beauty queen, socialite, and Goose's date when this story blew wide open. While visiting her house one night, his car got stolen. The police showed up, then the papers, and suddenly their secret romance wasn't so secret anymore. The next day, the headline read, Goose would be her gander. The punchline? Now their names are being linked as future batteries in matrimony. In baseball, the battery is the pair of pitcher and catcher. Get it? Because nothing says public romance like a stolen car and a baseball pun. So just when you think people are more obsessed with celebrity couples now, reality check back to 1925. While Goose was in the papers, Babe Ruth was writing stories for them. Today in 1925, Babe Ruth appeared in the paper as a reporter covering the World Series, not as a player in it. Ruth had signed a deal years earlier to syndicate a column with Christy Walsh, a writer and who many consider the very first sports agent. The column wasn't unusual. Plenty of players wrote, but only after they retired. Ruth was doing it while he was still playing, breaking down matchups, pitchers' tricks, even calling who might get the big hit. That year, Ruth found himself at rock bottom, even issuing a public apology and commitment to redemption. Spoiler alert, he wasn't finished just yet. This first-of-its-kind media deal helped launch his empire and helped fund a massive endowment that paid him after he was finished playing 10 years later. Either way, must have been an awkward Christmas party when Ruth showed up, and so did the columnist who just called him washed up. None of these characters have been very traditional. Our last two definitely didn't play by the rules. In 1925, women made up less than 5% of all auto theft arrests. But when they did, it made front-page news. Meet Jacqueline Rogers, nicknamed the Prince, later Walesy, for her resemblance to the Prince of Wales, and for stealing more than 40 cars across the Midwest. She wasn't your average thief either. Reporters called her brainy, popular, and pretty, with 2 college degrees. The prince she looked like? He'd soon become King Edward VIII, the one who gave up the throne for love. Below Rogers was another woman breaking into a man's world that week. In Chicago, Martha Hoofman Henke traded her typewriter for a torch, becoming one of the first female welders. From crime to construction, women in 1925 were proving they could do it all. They weren't the exception, they were the preview. Follow for more fun from the papers exactly 100 years ago today. Like these? There's plenty more where that came from. We've got fun daily headlines, plus true crime stories, some still unsolved from over 100 years ago.